businesses are strategic and can open doors into markets, unreached peoples, different nations, absolutely. And that's what BAM is all about. But we never treat businesses as the silver bullet, the lone answer that's going to solve all the world's problems. No, we're constantly building ecosystem, recognizing that if we're going to see holistic transformation on a macro scale taking place on an intergenerational dimension, we need to involve different spheres of society and leaders, of course, from the whole business ecosystem, but also leaders in church, leaders in missions and NGOs, and leaders in education and academia. So we've been intentional at BAM Global from the very beginning to engage people and leaders and professionals from all these four constituencies, business, missions, church, and academia, and bringing them together for conversation and also for action.
Business mission companies are for profit. They need to make a profit in order to be sustainable. But they have kingdom of God purposes and a special concern for the least reached and those who are vulnerable and are struggling.
A lot of time when we talk about BAM, we talk about those entrepreneur, those business owner. We talk about how they operate the business and what are the impact and effect. Those are all important. But as far as I'm concerned, if we want to use this and do this in a sustainable manner, we need to have an ecosystem that can make that work. And for example, mobilizing resources to help to sustain some of the BAM business in the 1040 windows.
Most businesses are local, and they're in the small, medium-sized sector. And if you look, for example, in all the developed countries in the world where there's good human flourishing, the backbone of all these economies are the small and medium-sized sector, often family-run businesses. So in BAM and in the BAM movement, that is a primary focus, the small, medium-sized sector. International businesses, multinationals, big corporations, they make headlines for good or bad reasons often. And that's fine. But we know from history, from just in our own generation, where actually the biggest lift out of poverty in the history of mankind has happened in our generation. And it has not been through aid, but through trade.
Because the actual existence of a legal entity and the existence of a for-profit entity, it's much harder to get closed down or to get sent out. It's not impossible, but you're talking about if people are doing this cross-culturally, or even better, if they're doing it indigenously, they've got credibility in the community, they've got credibility in the city or the society because they exist as a legal entity. And the larger they are, because the more jobs they created, for example, the more impact they're having in a community, the harder it becomes to say, we know that you have something else going on here. And often, and I'm implying that there's Christian activity going on, but a lot of times they're going to be like, oh, so this is what real Christianity looks like. And we're seeing it take place not just through one person, but through an entity, which is the actual business.
In the very early days of Business as Mission, we had a lot of mission agency pioneers of Business as Mission. And the reason why a lot of early pioneers for Business as Mission came from a mission agency background was that they were on the mission field seeing the needs of people and trying to reach them. And they realized that business was the best way of achieving the ministry goals that they had in those communities. So they began to see that business could be a really powerful way to work where they were. And it happened from the grassroots. A lot of mission workers out in the field started running businesses. And mission agency leaders had to grapple with that and say, okay, how do we incorporate this strategy into what we're doing? Many business people will go and do Business as Mission without a mission agency, but mission agencies have a really important role to play in sending some business as mission practitioners. And they've got a lot of expertise in areas like looking after people who are out doing God's work in every place. And they have a strategic role to play in praying, caring for, supporting, and also training and coaching people in certain skills that are needed in certain contexts of mission. So mission agencies are a really important constituent and partner in the business as mission community.
As you have people that are coming from traditional missionary models, okay, the important thing is to work with those individuals to find out what is their DNA, right? What can you, who are they? Okay, and then how God has made them usually leads to what business that would motivate them. It's not just, we're going to give you a business for the sake of doing this, but how has God wired you to allow you to impact the community you want to? And our facilitators are really good at making that into a business plan. And it's limitless.
My response to missionaries who are considering business, it's not about having a business for missions. Certainly that's a very valuable place to be, and there are a number of people that are doing that. But for missionaries, it's about the integration that, especially in places where there is no church, that the business and you as part of that business are the church in the area that you're in. So what does that mean? Well, you're not doing the business work because it's a lot of work to keep a business going. You're not doing that so that you have some time then also to dedicate to some other ministry work, something else. You'll just wear yourself out. But if the business is the mission, is the ministry work, it's a different kind of focus.
There's a lot of alignment in terms of our focus in business as mission and that of mission agencies. And mission agencies are often reminding us that we need to complete the task that Jesus gave us. We need to share his love and take the gospel to all people. And mission agencies, that's what they're all about. So they bring that emphasis, they bring that distinctive. And some who are uniquely specialized in dealing with justice issues or fighting poverty. There are mission agencies of all kinds who have different focuses, some with a very holistic, integrated mission. They're trying to bring development, spiritual impact and community development at the same time. So whatever the emphasis of the agency, I think business as mission, because it's such a holistic mission model, is relevant for them. I think one thing we'd really like mission agencies and mission agency leaders to know is that we need them in the business as mission movement. They're an important constituent of the work that God is doing around the world. And mission agency leaders are grappling with business as mission because they see the opportunities that business can have to bring positive impact in the world. So when you bring a non-profit and for-profit together, there are tensions. But I think if we can work through that and see how mission agencies can play their part in the business as mission movement, then we can form really powerful partners and partnerships.
We actually do have some really exciting, on the formal level, universities and seminaries in multiple countries who are looking at business as a mission and saying they're taking different approaches. They might take an approach, well, let's teach a class on business as a mission. So if we can help them do that, we'll help them do that. But we're also going to suggest, is there any way you can get this message embedded all the way through your MBA program, for example? Don't just teach a class on it, but make sure that the students who are taking a course on finance or accounting or strategy or HR or whatever are actually using not just a biblical worldview, but maybe a BAM filter, so that you can be training and releasing people who are ready to do business as mission. And they did it by getting an MBA, but it was an MBA that was infused with a BAM vision.
One thing that I think is really important is that we bring this message not just to business people, but to seminaries and to Bible colleges as well. We offer 3 different courses, Church-Based Business as Mission, Integrity and Finance, and Economics of Hope, that we believe pastors and church leaders need to get a broader view of the potential that the church can have in society in bringing our faith into every day of the week. Pastors have huge influence, and they often don't know. When we introduce to them to the God of business, the Old Testament and the New Testament, so many pastors, even those who have been doing it for many years, said, how did we miss this? How did we not see this? And why did we not learn this in seminary?
One of the things that we see increasingly is now that there are theses and dissertations being written directly, sometimes tangentially, but there are some that are actually directly related to business as mission. And you can see this taking place not only in Christian universities and seminaries, but there are actually Christians who are understanding the importance of being salt and light in their marketplace or in their sphere of influence. So they're going to London School of Economics, and they're actually doing a master's degree that relates to business as mission, those 4 bottom lines that we're talking about. And they're doing it in ways that are winsome, not just in robust research and writing, but actually influencing their professors and mentors and supervisors in the process.
How can churches be involved in business as mission? Over the years, a few decades now, when I've been doing BAM on all continents and meeting different audiences, business leaders, church leaders, for a number of years, I did this informal surveys with business people from all continents, asking a few questions. How many of you have ever heard a sermon on the theology of work? The answer was usually 0%. Second question, how many of you have ever been asked by your pastor or church leader, how can I pray for you and your business this week? The answer, usually 0%. Third question, how many of you have been asked by your pastor to give money to church? 95+%. The third one, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's some kind of imbalance. And this is what pastors easily can do. Yes, they can start doing sermons of theology work, theology of business, and equip business people to service and then deploy them into the marketplace.
Adults spend the majority of their time in the workplace, their awake time. But as a church, we're not equipping them for what that looks like. And so what we are seeing is some of those structural barriers, some of those theological barriers, some of those cultural barriers are beginning to come down to say we can embrace workplace discipleship just as we have youth ministries or women ministries or men ministries in our church.
Pastors are very afraid of knowing businesses. They often think they do not know anything about that. But there are many hidden treasures in the Bible. And then pastors need to learn. And based on the conviction, they got to release their members to the world. In order for them to be really discipled, they need to be share each other. They need to bring their experience in the marketplace to each other. And in order to do that, the gate for that is a pastor. They can be big stumbling block. They can be a good coach as well.
The church is the natural place that people gather, that Christians gather. A lot of the BAM movement has been through NGOs and external to natural meeting places. They're creating artificial meeting places for people to come and gather. And that's often because the church hasn't been open. But what we are beginning to see is the church recognizing that they need to create space, that this is an important opportunity for societal influence, that this is an opportunity for discipleship, for us to fulfill the Great Commission and the Great Commandment to do that through the workplace.
How can we mobilize the whole church? How can we mobilize those people who has the resources? Not to just look at being a good steward in in a charity, NGO, benevolence approach, but look at it from an approach that how can we mobilize those kind of capital as a risk capital into BAM business for the good of the kingdom, for the sake of the kingdom.
Bottom line, we've got these four groups of constituents, which are the local churches and denominations, it's mission agencies and NGOs, it's businesses and business professionals, and it's the academy, academics, and others who are involved in research and in training.